So we're going to huddle up today on 94 feet of UNC. We're going to talk about it. I got my guy in the building with me today.
Gordy, the black. The time, 18. Shot, Jordan! Michael Jordan!
Swicker with the defense and the rebound. That's a good effort by Swicker.
Stackhouse freaking in on Parks. Reverse dunk is good, and he gets fouled by Parks. Oh my goodness, what a dunk by Stackhouse.
Interesting that he brought him back so quickly, but you know what? They're down eight. In fairness, you can't teach that. You can't teach that. You can't teach that high-rising ability. Three. And Green rips down the rebound in traffic. 4-on-1. Great job. What a terrific job in transition. I mean, you could.
The glass no good. Rebound followed by hand throw. Good! Carolina.
Inside 30 overall. Love, top of the key.
Alice about this over. Carolina. The Tar Heels have won the national championship.
And that is it. There is a new team in college basketball. North Carolina takes the title.
Hampton, any final. North Carolina is the 2009 national champion.
And this year, the confetti is going to fall to North Carolina. They're not going to be denied this time.
What's up, everybody? It is Monday, January the 6th. You are tuned in to the 94 Feet of UNC podcast. I am your host, of course, Mr. Linzel Graham. I got a big special guest in the building with me today. It's been a long time, but we here today. We made it happen for sure. But before we get into him introducing himself and everything, appreciate all the love and support from everybody out there. Make sure that you tap in, like, comments, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any content that I provide for you. Because once again, you never know who's going to stop in here at the Zell Dome and chop it up with me. I got a lot of legends that have been through here already. So, make sure y'all tap in with me. Also, make sure you follow me on my socials, on Twitter, on Instagram, at 94 Feet of UNC. And just stay tapped in, man. We got 94 Feet of UNC merchandise. It's coming. It's coming, everybody. I promise everybody it is coming. Like, I'm getting a lot of messages about it. But I promise y'all, just putting some things in place. But we're going to make it happen, all right? My special guest, of course, in the building with me today. What's up, Carolina Nation? It is, you know what? I ain't even going to do it. I'm going to just let him do it because he's just a legend at making it happen. Russ, what's up, my guy?
What's going on, baby? It's good to see you, Linzel. Good to see you, bro. I appreciate you having me on the show, dog.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Listen, before we get started, you got to do it, man. You got to do the intro. You got to do it for everybody here.
You already know, baby. It's everybody's favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel. What's up, bro?
What's going on? What's going on? Listen, you know what's it's funny because I actually I was on Hill Brothers not too long ago, and I had a chance to chop it up with Alan, right? So Alan was like, because I told him, I said, Alan, I got Russ coming on the show, and everything. He was like, yeah, Russ, solid guy, really good dude and everything. He was like, just make sure he don't flex on you. I said, nah. The flexing is part of the intro. He's got to.
That's for all the Dookies and the state guys and everything, man. You got flex on them, baby. I'm their favorite North Carolinian too, dog.
Absolutely, for sure. So, Russ, listen, man. I tell everybody, come in, get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Kick your shoes off. This is the Zell Dome, right? Like, it's not the Dean Dome, it's the Zell Dome. I got, where a lot of people come in, sit down, chop it up with me or whatever. So, I got to show the good hospitality and everything, man. You know what I'm saying? We're not here for a long time, but hey, we're here for a good time. You know what I'm saying? So come on in, get comfortable or whatever, and if you need some water, something to drink, we're going to make it happen for sure. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So listen, let's jump right into it. I got to ask you first off, tell everybody about yourself. For all my followers and viewers that probably don't know about yourself and how you became a Tar Heel fan.
Right. So it's your boy Russ, man. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, born and raised. And I actually have a video, shameless plug, about why I'm a Tar Heel. Not just being from the Tar Heel state, but I grew up around in Fayetteville, obviously, from Fort Bragg. So there was a lot of people around the country that visited. And people would come in all the time, man, that I went to school with. And they would just talk about, like, I'm from Texas, baby, Longhorn Nation, or I'm from Georgia, I'm a Bulldog, or I'm from Florida, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, I'm proud of where I'm from, you know what I'm saying? And it don't take, every kid goes through history class in North Carolina. You find out that it's the Tar Heel state. And then the University of North Carolina is the Tar Heels. And I'm like, well, I'm a Tar Heel. So here we are, baby. I'm going to be a Tar Heel. I'm a ride or die, man. North Carolina all stinking day. And so, I put on that Carolina blue, man, and I've been here for 30 years and, going hard. And it don't matter win, lose, or draw, baby. It runs through my veins.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Like, listen, you like me, like it runs through the veins, win, lose, or draw. Like you said, whether it's a good season, bad season, it don't matter. It's all UNC forever. Like that's just what it is. And that's just what it's going to be. Like, and ain't nobody going to be able to change that. And, we welcome all newcomers. Like, if you a state fan, Duke fan, whatever the case may be, hey, come on over. We gladly accept you over here. We're a family over here at UNC for sure. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's what's up. So like Russ, I tell you, I gotta ask you some questions. Like, and feel free to ask me some questions as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I gotta ask you some questions. So I seen a recent vlog that you put out that was not too long ago. As a matter of fact, it was after the Louisville game. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, what you asked or what you was getting around to was, is the Hubert Davis era over?
Man, it's so hard, bro. Gosh, it's so hard because I think, it was kind of shocking when Roy retired, but you trust Roy, right? Roy's one of the greatest to ever do it, obviously. And, I think that it was controversial to a certain extent. You put Hubert Davis in place, and I've been a big advocate for, hey, man, let him cook and let's just see what he does. And then, the first year was it was better than at least Roy's last year. They got to the tournament. They made a great run. And there's a part of me that was like, okay, like, we made this big run, maybe we'll run it back the next year. It'll be like 2016, 2017, we'll get over the hump, the next year. And then we end up not making the tournament, basically. We weren't going to make the tournament, even though before they shut it down. So then you get the Sweet 16 run last year, and then we had multiple opportunities in that game to beat a really good up-and-coming Alabama program, and we can get into why they're trending up and why Carolina basketball is trending down. I hate to say that for all my Tar Heels out there, but let's keep it a buck, man. It is what it is. And then you jump into this year where you got a returning All-American in RJ Davis. You got a blue chipper and Ian Jackson, and we don't get a big. And so Armando leaves, and now we're in this place where, we got this 4 out, 1 in, 5 out, nobody in the paint. There's so many times where nobody's in the paint. And I've been telling everybody, hey, let's just see what Coach Davis is going to do, man. Let's see how he's going to make this work. And it's not working, dog. And not only is it not working, bro, like, I haven't seen the adjustments this year that I feel like he was making last year. And so if it's not working and we're not really making any adjustments aside from, interchanging the lineup every once in a while, hey, man, like the seat is getting a little bit hot, and I want you to be successful. I want you to succeed. But coach, man, we're 8-6 and we're looking at not making the tourney right now. So I think that there are some serious conversations that need to be made.
Yeah.
And real,
listen. No, go ahead.
One more thing, man. this is what I'm scared of, because I'm a big Carolina football fan too. I'm almost feeling like we're in this same situation, bro, as with the Mac Brown thing, where Mac Brown was just too nice, too much of a player's coach, if you will, and he just wasn't getting out of the players what he needed to get out of them too. I think that's also a component to look at. That's just my personal opinion, but that's kind of what kind of waters I feel like we're treading in right now.
Yeah, listen, I've had this discussion with several people. I mean, from fans to alumni players to you name it, writers on the UNC North Carolina staff, things like that. I've had several conversations. I love Hubert Davis. I do. Yeah. I do want Hubert to be successful.
Right.
I do think that when Roy retired, that Hubert was probably the best candidate, like hands down. I've heard the talks about, Wes Miller, probably would have been better, and things like that. And, as a fan, because of the program itself and what the program means to everybody and what it stands for and how we all feel as fans, you never want to have that conversation in regards to like a coach getting fired at UNC. Like, that's just something. Number one, North Carolina just don't do that. I think if I'm not mistaken, if I ain't mistaken, the last coach to be fired, well, I forgot about Mac Brown, but on the basketball side was Matt Doherty.
Yeah.
So it's one of them things where it's like, man, does he step down, or like, is he really going to like really make these changes that he knows that he needs to make? And I'm a firm believer of what Roy has always said, what Coach Williams has always said: you can't coach effort. So right. I don't put all of the pressure and everything on Coach Davis. I don't. I think a lot of it also has to do with the players, because the players are the ones out there on the court.
Right.
So, I think that, during the offseason, we didn't get a big, but, a lot of people, and from what we heard, that, Jay Wash was going to be stellar this year. We heard Elliott was going to be stellar this year. But we haven't seen it. I mean, there's a lot of disappointments from a lot of different players on this team this year. And I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to fix it. And I mean, a lot of us don't know how to fix it. And right now, Coach Davis, in a way, probably he's trying to figure it out, but it's heading in the direction to where it seems like he don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, am I wrong, or is this what the talk is? Like, I don't know. Like,
I think you kind of hit it on the nail, man. Is until you start like making changes and trying things. I remember, I'll take it back to the Florida State game last year down in Tallahassee when Carolina was getting drubbed, and then he went to a full court press, and all of a sudden we made a run. And I've heard people say, well, we don't have a rim protector right now. There's a difference between Armando Bacot being deep, as opposed to a guy like Jay Wash or Ben Allen Lubin being deep under the basket to protect the rim. And I understand the concern. However, me personally, I think that we've already established, man, our half-court offensive sets are atrocious. It's one-on-one basketball. It's kind of like watching the NBA, and you're kind of letting RJ and Ian do their thing. Occasionally, EC will get big, and he'll, get in the paint, muscle one up. But the offensive sets are not consistent. We're not very good in our half-court defensive sets by keeping guards in front of us. And so if you're not good on either end of the floor consistently, me personally, and it's just from my anecdotal evidence of playing high school basketball, is, hey, man, start to press. And if you got a bunch of guards, you know, you're smaller in the front court, you're smaller in the back court, you know, take advantage of the athleticism that you do have and press. And if you press, a lot of times you'll be able to turn defense into offense, man. And that's where Carolina's their best right now. Carolina's their best when they're running. And so hands in the lanes, man. You got guys like Seth Trimble and RJ and EC that are jumping passing lanes. That could turn into easy buckets, man. And that's easy offense. And now guess what? You're not playing half-court defense. And you're not having to run your half-court sets, man. So that's just something that I don't know why we haven't seen yet, because we saw it last year. Coach HD went to that press a lot, man. And it did some wonders for us. And that's when the season kind of turned around too, bro, when we started D'ing up on the defensive end of the floor. But I almost feel like right now, man, to this point, 14 games in, it's been like, well, maybe we'll change some personnel, you know, in the lineup. And it's like, okay, well, what else are we going to do? It's not working, you know? That's just my 2 cents, man.
So let me ask you this. So, or this is just from my observation, right? So I've noticed that let's go back to the off season. My dog is going crazy in the background. He always does this when I go live. He always does this when I jump on the show. I don't know what it is. I think he just knows, like, yeah, you get ready to do a show, I'm gonna just interfere, like make sure that I'm heard. But so my observation, let's go back to the off season, right? We missed in the portal. We missed on a big man. Seth comes back. Jay Wash, of course, from what we heard, he's developing. He's getting a whole lot better. He's getting stronger, you know, all of that. We see the videos on social media of Elliot Cadeau not missing a 3. Of course, that's different when you just shooting in the gym or whatever versus being in the game. That's a whole lot different, of course.
100%.
Yeah, so we're seeing him
makes.
Yeah, exactly. So what I think has happened. Oh, let's not forget, Cade hasn't produced like we thought he would.
Not even close, bro.
It's a big transition from coming from Belmont to coming to UNC. Much different.
Yeah.
So the competition is even different, of course, right? You're playing stronger guys, you're playing bigger guys, you're doing all of that, right? So Seth, every year, Seth has progressed, right? Mm-hmm. He always takes a step ahead every year. Cade not producing, Elliot not being able to penetrate, get to the basket, him or RJ for that matter. Because of, and I think that's where the Armando Bacot presence is being missed, because Armando always drew a double team, always. So, and of course, if he got that double team, it left the basket, it left the lane, it left the paint open for those guys to be able to penetrate and drive. Jay Wash, I don't know if he's fit for a starter position. I think Jay Wash works better coming off the bench. Some players are just better being bench players and not starters. 100%. I think, and this is no knock on Seth at all, because I love Seth. But I think Seth came and when we saw that and what he did at Memphis, it changed up everything. I don't think that what this lineup that we have right now, this starting 5 or whatever, well, we're still trying to figure it out. But the starting 5 that we had in the beginning, I don't think that was the original starting 5.
Right.
I think, Ian, I think he was more so locked in. That's what we all as fans had him locked in as a starter in the offseason. We thought, Seth would come off the bench. So now that Seth is playing a lot better, of course, and just taking his game to the next level, it's pushed Ian back a little bit now, because like Ian should be in that 3 spot. Cade not being able to hit baskets is also crippling the team because he can spread the floor. But if he's not hitting shots, then it does no good. I mean, it's pointless.
Right.
Jay Withers, I'm not understanding what it is that's going on. I've always said that even during the offseason that I thought he was going to be the X Factor type player, mainly, and the reason why is because I wanted him to, and I was hoping, and maybe Coach Davis decides to do it, but I wanted him to be more of a defender, more so than an offensive guy, right? We know what his game is. If he could give us some points, 6 to 8, maybe 10, something like that, fine, of course. But let's be more of a defender like the Leaky Black, like the Jackie Manuels. Like you're the most athletic on the team with height.
He is, 100%. Right, yeah.
So why not use him for your defensive side of things instead of more so for the offensive side?
Right.
Then Alan Lubin wasn't familiar with this game until, of course, he got here. But I don't think that he's hit his ceiling yet. Like, I think there's still a lot more to Vin Allen Lubin that we just have not seen. It's just the situation that he's in right now. Everybody is playing out of position. Everybody. Jay Withers, sometimes he's at the 4. Jay Wash is probably the only one that's still playing his same position, and maybe RJ, but sometimes RJ is playing the 1, which he's better off ball than on ball, if you ask me. Sometimes Ian now Drake is playing the 4, which I think he's too small to play. Cade just ain't getting no playing time. Well, he's starting to get a little bit now. But you got all of these different things to do with where everybody is just now playing out of position. So now everybody is scrambling, trying to figure out, okay, if I got to play out of position, I got to learn this because this ain't what I'm used to. I'm used to playing the 2. I'm used to playing the 3 or the 4 or something, because Drake should be a 3. Ian should be a 2. If you ask me, and then move Cade to the 4. He could have been a stretch 4. And then you got Washington or something like that, which would help out Washington, I think, a little bit if Cade can stretch the floor and make baskets. But we haven't seen any of that. Like right now, it's like it's like roaches when you turn on the lights. They get the scattering, going everywhere. Like,
chaos.
And I don't know. I don't know what else to do. Now, I have a theory or I have a method, but I don't. A lot of people, that I got a lot of pushback on it. I think James Brown should start. I truly believe that.
He should definitely at least be getting some more burn. I mean, they need to free my dog, man. I don't know why he's over there on the pond, man. Like, because when he comes in, he gives us decent minutes. I know he's young and he's I know he's young and he's raw, but at least he's got some size, man.
Listen, he's got size, he's got height. I mean, he's young, but imagine putting James Brown in there at the 5. Let him bang around in the paint a little bit. Let's try something different and let's put Claude at the 4. The reason why is because #1 offensive rebounder in the ACC last season. That's over Armando Bacot, Harrison Ingram. That's over everybody last season.
Yeah.
Number 10 in the nation in offensive rebounds. The man knows how to go and get the ball. Now, you put him in there with somebody like James Brown, let them 2 guys or whatever. That's your post presence right there. Now you don't really have to worry about drawing the 5 out. You don't have to worry about drawing the 4 out, because now when shots go up, those guys can focus on getting that rebound.
Yeah.
More so than Jay Wash. Or if you want to, put Brown at the 5, put Washington at the 4.
Which I kind of like
now. Yeah. I like it. I like it better, of course, than probably putting Claude at the 4. But because Washington can stretch the floor. He
He's
can. I mean,
supposed
we
to be.
haven't seen a 3-point. Yeah,
That's
we
what
haven't
I'm
seen a
saying.
3-pointer yet.
I actually put that in my video. I was talking about Jay Wash because he just overtook Seth Trimble. Seth he's been hurt. And so now Jay Wash, after the Louisville game, is now our leading rebounder by 0.1. He's averaging 4.9 boards a game. So I had mentioned the fact that he's supposed to be able to stretch the floor, and we haven't even seen maybe one or two 12, 15 footers. You know what I mean? So, I mean, and he hasn't hit a 3 yet. So
he has no post presence.
0.
but he can shoot a 15-footer.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a pretty shot when he gets going. Like
Right.
This
is a confidence thing, man. I think Jay Wash's confidence is shot. I feel like, some people they react to pressure a lot. And there was a tremendous amount of pressure put on that young man, obviously, coming into the season. We didn't get a big, and however that transpired, HD was like, hey man, I'm gonna need you to stink and fill this spot. And that's a lot of pressure, to fill the shoes of Armando Bacot and to say, hey, you're the guy. I need you to be a rim protector. I need you to be a post presence, which is not really his game. I need you to be a dog under the basket. It's not really him, Yeah. So a lot of pressure. People react to pressure differently. I don't think that he's handled the pressure very well. I mean, that's been a huge, as a fan, it's been a disappointment because we were kind of counting on Jay Wash to be a little bit more efficient and effective down low.
Yeah. I'll ask you this. Let me ask you this real quick. Your starting 5, if you had to pick a starting 5, who would it be?
So I'm probably going to get some pushback on this, bro. I might not.
I'm gonna get pushback on mine too, probably.
You get pushback on yours. So I actually, with the way the EC's been turning the ball over, man, I'm making him ride the pond for a little bit. And, against Notre Dame, if I could choose my starting 5 right now, I would move RJ to the 1. I'd move, if Seth is healthy, then Seth would be my 2. I'd have Ian Jackson at the 3. And then it's kind of pick or choose, man, who you want at the 4 and 5. I do think that I'd probably go with Jay Wash at the 4, just because I'm trying to get that guy to be able to stretch the floor a little bit. And I still believe that Van Allen Lubin is Carolina's best back to the basket player, even though he's undersized. So I wouldn't mind seeing us make a considerable effort, man, to feed him the ball in the post. Try to give him some space, man, and let him work, because we have to have some kind of post presence. He's not Armando Bacot. He's not going to strike fear in anybody's eyes, but we can't just keep playing this isolation basketball. And our screen game is terrible. I mean, to be honest with Jay Wash is a terrible high ball screener, and that's another reason why I think RJ's been struggling, because he's used to getting really good screens up at the top to free him. And I think that it's in his head right now, even when that high ball screen comes out high, when he's moving off of it, he's already thinking, this guy's going to be right on my hip, bro. I'm not going to get any space. So he's got that in the back of his head, because Jay Wash is just, he's not doing a very good job of screening at the top of the key, especially. So that would be my starting 5, man. And I'd have EC come off the bench, man, to be honest with you. I have my own reasons. I've heard some things behind the scenes of why I do not believe that HD would do that. But I think that's what needs to transpire, because the problem with Elliot Cadeau, and I'm not trying to be too long-winded, but the problem
good, bro.
The problem with EC right now for me, and I'm just a former point guard of high school, but basketball 101, man, he's dribbling into way too many double teams, and he's a littler dude. So, he's dribbling into double teams, turning the ball over. Sometimes they're in the worst possible, scenarios where, we're down by 2 and making a run, and he's just trying to do a little bit too much. And so until he can play under control, hey man, you're gonna be over here watching. I know how my coach would be. You're gonna be over here watching the game, and especially the fact that he's like we alluded to originally, man. He's not knocking down the three, and you can still see people sagging off of him, dude. They don't respect him. And if you hit one, it's one of those things, bro, where if he hits one, you're like, all right, let me see you do it again. You know what I mean? So he might go 1 for 4, 1 for 5, and they're like, bro, we'll live with that all day. Keep jacking him.
Right. Yeah.
So
exactly. My 5, I would go with RJ at the 1. I would go with Ian at 2.
Okay.
I would go with Ian at 2. I would go with Drake at 3.
Okay.
I would go with Jay Wash at 4 and James Brown at 5. Because now when you look at it, you got size, you got height in the front court.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know James Brown ain't stepping out to shoot no jumpers or no 3-pointers or anything like that. So guess what he's gonna do? Stay in the paint, right?
Right.
You can get him the ball. He has really good hands. His feet is not bad at all. He can move around and he can post up and he can score.
Right.
You get Jay Wash at the 4 because, again, now that puts him in the position to shoot the 15-footers, step out, maybe, pop a few threes, whatever the case may be. You got Drake, who is probably your second best defender now at the 3 spot and athletic.
Right.
You put Ian, and you can either go Ian or Seth at the 2 spot. Like I'm not mad at either one of those, right? Because regardless, whichever one is going to come off the bench, they're still going to give you points, regardless. Yeah. So
right.
I just think with Ian, you got more height and you got more scoring. Well, you got scoring.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that, bro. Yeah. He's cooking right now, bro.
Right.
He's cooking
and
right now.
And then you put RJ out there. So now, because if RJ is out there, he's running the 1. Now the focus is on Ian because he's cooking.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta worry about Drake because Drake can shoot some shots if he needs to or whatever. But he's got to get a little bit better for sure. But he's very athletic. Like, you got to watch him on the defensive end because he's gonna go up and get it with 2 hands for sure.
Right.
You got Jay Wash, who now can actually show his skills and step out, hit the 3, stretch the floor. He could hit he could turn around, hit the 15, the 17-footers. He could do all of that or whatever. And now you got James Brown, who's a big body, who can bang with some people down there in the paint, as far as, the Hunter Dickinsons, the Cliff Amoris, or whoever you want to put down there in the paint. So to me, that might be your best starting 5.
Yeah.
And then coming off the bench, you got Cade, you got Withers, you got Lubin, you got Trimble or Jackson, you got Cadeau.
Right.
So, I mean, I think it's something to try. Right now, at this point, I mean, what do you have to lose?
I agree. I agree.
Know
and you know what? They're all still going to get some burn, man, because if you do what I think we should do, which is turn up the stinking pressure and press, hey, man, legs get tired and everything, bro, but you got guys coming in and out. Everybody's going to get burned just because you didn't start. Doesn't mean you're not going to play. You know what I mean?
Right.
So take it on the chin, bro. We got to do what's best for the team right now. We're 8-6.
Now, if you're going to do the press, give me Seth as far as your 2 guard.
Seth's got to be on he's got to be on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to be on the floor, man.
Yeah. I definitely would try that and see how that goes as well, because now you got Seth and RJ that can trap you, but you also got to worry about Drake Powell.
Right.
Like, and then you got to worry. Yeah. And you got to worry about the 2 6'10" guys that we would have on the floor or whatever, that now you might have to try and throw the ball over to get it to one of your teammates or whatever the case may be. So I just think that it's one of those things that Coach Davis should try, honestly. Now, I've spoken to a lot of people, and I do think that I like the Bill Guthridge method. I call it the Bill Guthridge method. So, so if you remember 97, 98, when Coach Guthridge was coaching, he had a 6-man starting rotation. You had Coda, Shaman, Okalaja, Carter, Jameson, and Big Mac Tarjah.
Mm-hmm.
Every game, one of those guys sat out.
Right.
Every game, but somebody else would start or whatever. It was a 6-man starting rotation. Why not try that? The reason why I say that is because right now, when teams are prepping for North Carolina, they pretty much know North Carolina now. That's the reason why we're hearing a whole lot of fodder about nobody's scared of North Carolina no more. Like, now we look at y'all like, yeah, you're very beatable, whatever the case may be, because of the preparation. They see what it is. They see we don't have no inside presence. They see that our guards are small. They see everything, right? So when they're prepping, that's what they're going to prep for, right?
Right.
You prep, your lineup should be different if it's a Duke or a Boston College. So if you're going with Boston College, okay, let me start Cade, because Cade needs to get going a little bit more. Try and help build his confidence or whatever. If it's Duke, okay, let me get like my most athletic and the most scoring I can get out of the guys or whatever, because Duke has nobody under 6'5". So you got to go height, you got to go athleticism.
Yeah.
And you got to go with scoring, right?
Right.
So that preparation is going to be different. So now when it comes game time and Boston College says, you know what, we got y'all down pat, we already know what y'all going to do. No. Right before the game, guess what? Carolina has a totally different starting lineup that now it throws your opponent off, because they prep for your actual starting five that we've been running with. The 3-guard lineup, no post presence, whatever. Whereas now it's like, oh, they got 2 bigs in there now. They got 2 scorers in there now. They got a defender that's quick that will go up and get the ball with 2 hands or whatever. We didn't prep for that starting out. Right. And that's the reason why, like, a lot of these teams might go up 15, 20 in the first half or whatever, and we trying to dig ourselves out of a hole. Change up the change up the lineup for every game. Set the lineup based on your opponent, instead of waiting until your number is called.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, like, a couple of things that's going to do. Number one, it's going to build confidence for all of the players, because now everybody is looking at it as, you know what, I'm starting this game. That's going to boost my confidence. I got to get out here. I want to show myself. Like, I got to redeem myself, or whatever the case may be. So it's going to build up confidence. But at the end of the year, it's also going to help you retain players, because the first thing they're thinking about is, well, you know what? I started 8 games this season. Like, you know, you know what? I think I might want to come back, because now I do want to get better. I do want to redeem myself, because it wasn't as a successful season as I thought it was going to be. I didn't live up to my expectations. Let me come back for another year.
Right.
It's going to help you retain players as well.
Yeah.
So there's so many different things that nobody has argued about the Bill Guthridge method. Like, I haven't had one person combat me on that. And a lot of people actually agree with it. They say, yeah, let's try that. So, I mean, what do you think?
It can't hurt. Like I said, man, we're 8-6, 1-1 in the ACC. You know, and we got a noon date against Notre Dame coming up. So, I mean, hey, man, I'm ready to pull out all stops, bro. Whether I'm wrong or right, we got to do something. We got to do something.
Yeah. It's Carolina basketball. This is Carolina basketball. I was talking to a friend of mine. Yesterday, and he was like, I've never heard him talk like this. I mean, he was so mad, like he almost got into. You could hear it in his voice, right? And his thing was like, I look at the top 25. And I see all of these blue bloods in the top 25, the UCLAs, the UConns, the Dukes, Kansas, Kentucky's.
Yeah, man.
But there's one program that's missing.
North Carolina.
He's got a point. Like,
and to keep it a buck with you, man, UConn wasn't there until about maybe talking about a blue blood. But I almost feel like they've done the old swapperoo with us, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, UConn every year is like, oh man, that's the team you got to think and watch out for. And I hate to say it, I'm keeping it 100, man. I mean, people have told me Carolina basketball is not the same, man. Not the same no more. And I'm like, goodness gracious, bro, that's like crazy to even hear. When you played that montage at the beginning of the show, I'm looking at Jerry Stackhouse punching on people, Vince Carter going up 2 hands, bro. Are you stupid jumping with me? I'm talking about some dogs, man. Tyler Hansbrough down low, banging on people, man. Like where in the world is that at, bro? How do we go from there to the product that we're seeing right now on the floor, man? It's not even close to the same quality.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It is literally insane. Like, I don't understand it, because I mean, this is a Carolina basketball. It just isn't. And I mean, we got to figure something out. Like, there's a lot of things that I would love to say, but I'd rather just keep those thoughts, I guess, whatever. But
likewise.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll talk later about it or whatever. But I noticed that you mentioned something about Alabama. Like, let me tell you, I absolutely hate Alabama.
Me too.
I hate Alabama. I despise Alabama and Nate Oates. And I'm hearing a lot like, oh, if Hubert is gone, let's go get Nate Oates. Absolutely not. Oh my God. Oh my goodness, bro.
I heard that. I've heard that too, man.
If Carolina goes to get Nate Oates, and this is, I'm not saying that Hubert is losing his job. I got to make sure I put that out there, like, because I love Hubert. Like, Hubert, if you ever see this, listen, I love you, my guy. I really do. Like, we just got to make changes or whatever. I'm not hoping or anything that you lose your job or anything like that. I want you to be the head coach at North Carolina. I really do. But I mean, with all of this talk, I'm hearing Nate Oates, I'm hearing TJ Otzelberger, I'm hearing Brad Underwood, of course Wes Miller. There's only one. There's only one coach that I think would be the perfect coach for UNC, and that's Jay Wright.
So, because that's what I was going to ask you real quick is, if because this is if if that were to be the case at the end of the season, would we go outside the family to save Carolina basketball? It's a crazy thought, man. And Jay Wright would be going outside the family.
I think at this point you have to.
It's a different
because if you think about it, well, I look at it for a couple of reasons. Number one, who you gonna go and get in the Carolina family?
Wes Miller.
I mean,
and I'll be honest with you, man, I'm not sold on that at all.
But if you get Wes Miller, then you might as well keep Hubert. I think Hubert has a better pedigree than Wes Miller does, and that's no shade to Wes at all. Like I rock with all UNC alumni and
Of course.
all of that. I really do. But if you're gonna get Wes, then you might as well keep Hubert. I think you take a step back if you get Wes.
Right.
So where you going, Jerry Stackhouse?
I don't know about coaching. I don't know about coaching just yet, man. Because just because you was a hooper, man, don't mean you're gonna be a real good ball coach. You know what I'm saying? So we've seen that. We've seen that play negatively in way too many instances. Take old boy down at Georgia Tech right now. Who's at Georgia Tech?
Damon Stoudemire.
Damon Stoudemire, yeah, Damon Stoudemire, man. I mean, I guess Tech is kind of playing a little bit better. And he's probably one of their best basketball alums. But I don't know, man. I'm not necessarily sold on, okay, you were a hooper. Ipso facto, you need to, because this is like, we're talking about like a Fortune 500 basketball program. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of one of the reasons why I'm not like sold on Wes. I like Wes, but do I want to give him my Fortune 500 basketball company? I don't know, man. I don't know.
And that's where my thoughts come into play, because like you said, a Fortune 500 program. Like we're talking about one of the, if not the best program in college, period.
Right.
Like,
right.
Yeah, you got your Dukes, you got your you got your Kansas, you got your Kentuckys and all of that, but it's North Carolina. Like
the
all
guys
of the history.
Right. The guys that have come out of this school, bro, there is not another school in the country that can hold our stinking shoes, bro. We are the cream of the crop. Yes, we're where we're at right now. But Carolina, bro, is Carolina. And I don't even feel like I'm being biased. Nobody can boast.
I don't think nobody can argue that. I really don't think nobody can argue that.
And you're just not being honest with yourself, bro. If you're gonna try, go ahead. Bring it. Bring it. Bring your starting five against my starting five. Bring all your banners against my banners, bro. Bring it.
Right. Right. So I mean, if you ask me, we're what, number 2 in banners, right? Behind UCLA?
UCLA and Kentucky. I think Kentucky's got, because we got the Helms in 1924. I think Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken, has 1 or 2 more than we do. But they don't have the studs like as a whole that have come out. I mean, obviously it's a great program, but look that up real quick, man.
I was buying because I thought they had 6.
Look that up real quick.
Because you would do the same thing that I would do.
NC tournament champions 48, 49, 51, 58, 78, 96, 98, and 2012. So that's 8 that I'm counting according to Wikipedia.
Okay. So they got 8.
And they have one Helms championship, which is equivalent to obviously our 1924. So they could say they got 8 NCAA tournament championships, like we have 6, plus they got the Helms like we have 1 too.
Yeah.
So
okay. Well, so they got one more than we do. One more than we do, basically. I count them all. It don't matter. Like,
count them all.
We got it. We got it. Like it ain't no getting around it for sure.
Right. So Natties were, I think, third. Third in the nation. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'll say this: if that were to happen, I do think that North Carolina now with the whole football move, I think North Carolina is they go out and make a statement, and they go out and get a big name.
If they did that for football, nobody's safe.
That's what I'm saying. So, like
Right.
they went out, and we're gonna get into the football because I got to get your take on some things, like
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if they go out and do like they did in football and got the GOAT, then they're gonna go out and get somebody on that type of level, on that
100%.
type of tier in
Yeah.
basketball.
Right. The
So
best
I mean,
available.
yeah, and I do believe that Jay Wright, because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Jay Wright, he's not gonna want to deal with the NIL. That's the reason why he left Villanova, and all of that and stuff." Don't matter. This is North Carolina, and I do
Right.
believe that if he was to get the offer, North Carolina is probably the only school that he would come out of retirement for.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
You can come
yeah,
and as great of a career as you've already had, you can come and and turn this thing around. You can be the head coach at North Carolina. You talk about putting
right.
a staple, on, I'm one of the best to ever do it. So
Yes. I mean, oh man, just imagine that list: Dean Smith, Bill Guthridge, Roy Williams. And you got to throw Hubert in there for sure. You got to. But then you see a Jay Wright.
right.
Like, that list of coaches is just insane.
Craziness. It's craziness.
Insane.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
I just, oh man, that would be crazy. But that's an if. That's an
Right.
if, because I know the
Yeah.
people, they will come after us. You know how it is, Russ. They'll they'll be like,
I know,
"Oh, so you
dude.
want about it?" Like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no,
But
no,
we
no,
want him to be a successful coach at UNC.
for sure.
But at the same time, man, this is a production business. You got to produce. So
Yeah,
he's an alumni. He's a Tar Heel through and through. Of course, man, we all want him to be the next Roy Williams, Dean Smith. That's what we're hoping for. But if
yeah.
it doesn't come to fruition, man, then we got to do what's best for Carolina basketball.
Absolutely. You got to save the program. Yeah, I mean,
You got to
that's
save
just
the program, bro. Yeah.
that's just what it is.
No,
So
no
I mean,
one man is greater than the program.
that's a fact.
Right.
That's a fact. So I mean, we'll wait. Things are yet to be seen. So I mean, but I do think that Hubert will get it together. Like, I will ask you this, because I think that this is one of the things that have kind of hurt him a little bit. How do you feel about this whole transfer portal recruiting process that's just going on right now in college basketball? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, personally, I can't stand it. As a consumer of college athletics, man, it's changed the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's professional light. That it just is what it is, man. The kids are not playing anymore. They're getting paid right now. And I do believe that there is some truth to, once you start paying people, especially exorbitant amounts of money, which I think is great for the kids. I'm not trying to, these kids are obviously bringing in a ton of money to the universities, man. They're providing services, if you will, entertainment for all of us. So I do think that they should be compensated for that. But I think that it starts to directly impact a lot of times the product that you see, because kids are no longer necessarily playing all the time for the passion of the game. They're not necessarily playing anymore because they're trying to get to the next level, because to a certain extent, I'm already there. I'm getting paid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm making good money, man. And I'm in college. I'm playing ball. I mean, they're making way more money than me and you are making. You know what I'm saying? And these kids are 18, 19, 20 years old. And you know what? Hey, capitalize on your talents, man. Capitalize on your name, image, and likeness and everything. But it has changed the college game, man, both in basketball and in football. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm not personally a huge fan of it. I would still because we're talking about another thing, and this is kind of a different psychological perspective. I don't mean to get too deep in the weeds, but when you're 18, 19, 20, man, I could just remember when I was 18, 19, 20, you're legally an adult, but you're still not a man. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're not a man, bro. And I think there's still like this growing period, and when you start giving young men exorbitant amounts of money, me personally, man, I think it kind of it lowers their drive to really lay it all on the floor, man. To play for the name on the front of your chest too, bro. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. That's just my 2 cents, bro. But people may disagree with me, but and then when you couple that with the whole realignment and the fact that the SEC and the Big Ten is just making just ridiculous amounts of money more than we are in the ACC, that's another reason why I think that our program has fallen by the wayside to a certain extent.
Yeah, and because I'm right there with you. I like the NFL. I like the portal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I can't. Because I'm with you. I think the players should get paid. I mean, to be honest with you, players have been getting paid for a long time from a lot of coaches, but that's neither here nor there. They've been doing it. Some of these coaches, right? Before all of that became legal. So, I like the NIL. I don't like the fact that there's a couple of things. It has to be regulated for sure.
Of course. Yeah.
I think that right now the control is more so in the players' hands when really I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but some of that control should also be within the coach and the university.
I agree.
Like the control should be instead of just putting it all into the players' hands or whatever, because right now, like you said, they're going to go wherever the most money is going to be.
Right.
They're going to use other teams as leverage, AJ the banter.
Right.
And to get more money from other programs. And they're going to lose that drive, like you said, because now it's all about the money. They don't care about nothing else. And to a fault, excuse me.
Bless you.
I knew that was coming, man. I felt it. But to a fault, that has hurt UNC because Hubert's thing has always been, we don't pay to play and come play for the name on the front of the jersey.
Right.
But it ain't like that no more. And I think that could be, why we've missed out on a whole lot of players. Like, these kids nowadays, they want the money.
They want the bag, man. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what's hurt us. But at the same time, I think Coach Davis has recognized that, and to where it's like now, it's either, as the old term says, kill or be killed. Like, I think now he's in that, all right, I got to be a killer out here in this portal or in this NIL getting these recruits. I can't just let everybody keep taking them. And I'm just still sitting back here like, yo, come play for this team. That's on the name that's on the front of this jersey. Nah, coach, I'm going over here. They giving me 7-8 million.
Right.
That a kid should take the 7-8 million.
I'm playing for the name on the back, baby.
Right.
I mean,
exactly. So, I mean, look, prime example, the AJ DeBansa situation. I don't think no kid should be getting $7 million, $8 million at all. I do not think so. I don't think. I just don't. That's not worth it for not, especially for a kid that's only going to be there 3 months, 4 months, maybe.
Right.
Like, he's not going to class. Come on.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
He gonna keep the plastic on the books. Like, those are gonna be fresh books. He ain't living on campus. He pretty much gonna just be able to do what he wants to. Like, and in December, he's probably gonna say, you know what, I'm out. I'm going to get ready for the NBA. Because that's where he wants to go anyway. But hey, he wouldn't have got that 7-8 million. I'm not mad at him for that.
I'm to the point, bro. Like real talk. Why would you leave? Hey, man, I'll stay another year for another 7-8 mil. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, that's true. But I mean, if you projected number one,
that's true. Yeah.
So now you guaranteed what 50, 70, 100,
right?
Instead of 7 or 8.
Some crazy,
yeah. So I mean, the only thing that I didn't like about the AJ situation is the fact of how you strung the other schools along. When you had been, you was committed to BYU a month before you even made your announcement on First Take.
Right.
But your dad is at the Carolina-Alabama game. Here it is. Carolina and Alabama fans are thinking that they are still in the race for you when you've already signed a month ago.
Right.
Like, that's what a lot of players are going to end up doing. They're taking these teams such as the Carolinas or whatever, and they might not even want to go to Carolina at all. Right. But they're going to put Carolina in their top 5, final 4, top 3, final 8, whatever, and use it as leverage.
Right.
Because if teams see, North Carolina is on this list, let's up the price to try and get them over here to Utah. I don't know. I'm just throwing out a team. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what these kids are going to start doing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to change the game. Like, it's already changing the game, to be honest with you. And that's the reason why I say you got to take some of the control out of the players' hands and put it back into the university and into the head coaches, because that's when recruitment was exciting.
Right. Yeah.
It's not exciting no more.
No, because they can bounce because you sat them on the bench for a little bit, man. And so I haven't really thought too much about this, to be honest with you, man, but just off the top of the head, man, I mean, I would even like to see maybe like a 2-year contract minimum, and, if you're a one and done kind of guy, then you can opt out of your second year if you're declaring for the NFL draft. But what that does, man, is for me, it kind of says, hey, listen, you're still going to have to play for the name on the front of your chest. You still got to play for the school, okay? Because if you don't, now the coach has some leverage. Hey, man, if you're not going to produce, or if you're not producing, well, then I'm going to sit you over here on the bench. And you're not going to be able to just jump ship because, you thought you was going to come in here and just mess around. No, we had an agreement.
Right.
We're going to pay you X amount of money. You're going to come here and produce for this university. And you're going to help us win basketball games or football games or whatever it is. And then from there, I think that a lot of this stuff should be incentive driven, and I take it, I know this is kind of like more along basketball, but if you look at DJU's situation down at Florida State, my guy was paid $900,000, man. Bless you. He started like 4 or 5 games, man. And then he rode the pine for the rest of the season. They still owed him $1 million. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
And so, but for these kids, man, that are just like, you know what? I don't like my situation here, man. I think I'm going to chuck the deuces and I'm going to go over here. For instance, he didn't do it after 1 year, but Dontrez Styles going over to NC State. Out of all places, man, good night. If you wear Carolina blue, man, you can never wear red or royal blue. I mean, and vice versa, bro. Vice versa. That's another thing that's like, that's really driving me insane, man, is not only these kids thinking leaving after a year, they're going to their rivals, man.
The rivals. Yeah.
What in the world, bro?
Yeah.
I can't stand that. I cannot stand that, man.
Yeah.
For the life of me, I can't stand that, man. But I think that, like you said, some of the power, because I do, they went too far over here, and it needs to come back in the middle, man.
Yeah.
Get the kids paid so that they can take advantage of, obviously, their name, image, and likeness. They can take advantage of their skill set and the money that they're bringing into the university, while simultaneously not just having all the power in the kid's hands. The university, he's still wearing that university's jersey. He's still representing that name on that university. So there is some liability as far as they're concerned as well. And they need to have a little bit of say-so as well, man. You shouldn't just be able to chuck the deuces, man, because you and the coach ain't getting along or something, man.
Yeah. And not only that, let's add a financial class that you got to take as well.
I like it.
I'm not going to give you, I'm not going to give you $7 million or something like that or whatever. And I mean, of course, how you spend your money is how you spend your money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, put it in that contract or whatever. Like, listen, you got to take this financial training class, aid class, whatever you want to call it. You have to take this class as well or whatever. Like, you know, and it's gonna add. If you don't produce on the court, then that $7 million that you thought you was gonna get, now you ain't getting but $3 million.
Right.
Because
you get some guarantee money.
You can get some guarantee or whatever, but you're not gonna get the full amount or whatever, especially if you just coming in or whatever, thinking that you just gonna be able to do what you want to do. That's just not that don't cut it. That just don't cut it to me or whatever. And the NCAA is so far behind, bro. I don't know what they're gonna do, because now they're talking about bringing in this trading rule. Like I've heard. So where it's kind of like the NBA, and I hate the NBA. I can't stand the NBA right now, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, but they're setting it up in college to where schools will now be able to trade players.
That's crazy.
What I heard. That if that happens, bro, it's gonna be a mess. Yeah, it's going 100%. To be a mess out here. Like, 100%. Ain't no sense in the transfer portal if you're gonna do that.
Right.
Like,
yes. Wow, man, you can trade players, man. Goodness gracious. And now we trading players for money. We're gonna give you Seth Trimble and for $3 million. And come on, man. Like we already have the NBA. And if we like that product, then we can watch that product, which I personally don't like that product. They don't play defense no more. This isn't Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant going to war in 2001. You know what I'm saying? This is it's just not the same. So don't take my college basketball away from me, man. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, man. I'm with you. Like, college basketball is my thing. Like, and I see posts all the time, like, what happened to the game I love? Like, but it's the NCAA's fault. Like, the NCAA is the reason why these players now are all in control of everything, because for decades they were stealing money and taking money, right? Or whatever. So now the players feel like, hey, I'm in control now. I'm gonna get this money or whatever, and really ain't nothing you can do about it until you figure out a way to change things. And the NCAA is so they just won't change things.
And it's gonna be hard too, bro, to pull it back. Because the moment you start, you tell these kids like, hey man, listen, we gotta draw a line right here. Now people are like, hey man, hold on, time out. So I mean, you got to get a hold of this thing quick. This ain't something that needs to be 5-10 years down the road. Hey, we'll get to it when we get to it. No, there needs to be some regulation here very quickly, or college athletics in general. There's a lot of people that are going to check out from it, man, because what makes college basketball and football so great, the pageantry, the love for the name on the front of your jersey, the fan base, everything that goes into it, man, that's different from professional sports, is starting to be eroded, man. I hate it. I do, man. I hate it.
Yeah. It's oh my God, man. I'm hoping that it just don't get to that point. I really do hope it never gets to that point to where everything now is just like the NBA, because I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't even know. I don't know if I'll watch it.
Right.
I don't know if I'll watch it. I mean, because there should be a salary cap, and not to mention, like, the reason why it might get worse is, let's take AJ for example, right? You go to BYU for 1 year, you get 7-8 million, but then you know what? You say, you know what? I liked college. but I'm tired of BYU. I'm ready to go somewhere else. And you decide not to go to the NBA. So what school do you think is not going to pay AJ DeBansa another $4 million,
Right.
$3 to $4 million for him to come to their team? And,
Right.
and like these teams are just going to start buying. Look at Bill Self. Like Bill Self just got Bryson Tiller, who just reclassed. And now he starts with he's going to join the roster in January.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to come out next year. Like,
right.
Like you stacking these teams and we're losing our coaches, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, we are.
Larinaga, Bennett.
Yep.
I'm surprised Izzo is still here.
Yeah, I am too.
Calipari ain't going nowhere because he's just well connected with the NBA. But his tenure is running short for sure.
Right.
Patino ain't got much longer. Like they bringing in these young guys now, man. Like and so it's I don't understand it. It's changing, and it's just got to get better, man. It's got to get better. It's got to get better. So listen, real quick. Before we wrap things up, I got to ask you, of course, because when the games come on, I mean, listen, you got the pain under the eyes, you got the
I go hard, dog.
Yeah, you got the jerseys on, whatever. Like, how we feeling, man? About well, listen, I know how you feeling, but to the viewers and the listeners, how we feeling about the BB effect, Chapel Bill?
So I am incredibly excited about it. And, for all my basketball heads out there, bro, I want you to keep in mind that the basketball program, and stay with me for a second, has been kind of trending down for a little bit. Okay, before Bill Belichick was announced as the head coach of the football team. So I know a lot of basketball heads only are really they're worried about the amount of money that Carolina's investing into the football program, but that kind of goes into, this is going to be an uncomfortable topic for a lot of North Carolina fans.
Right.
The simple fact of the matter, bro, is that football is the king, and it generates so much more money than college basketball does. And you see that with Georgia, Alabama, these teams in the SEC, the teams in the Big Ten. Look at the TV contracts that these guys are getting for football. The NCAA tournament, as much as we love it, 64 teams, 66 teams, however much it is anymore, 68 teams. It doesn't generate half of the revenue, give or take, that a 4-team college football playoff generates, man. That's crazy. 68 teams, bro. How many games is that? And it just doesn't generate the same amount of money. So the programs that are focusing on football, all right, they have not only excelled. You look at Alabama. Alabama's a perfect case scenario, man. A football giant for how long? The SEC, they're paying these guys $50 million more than Carolina's getting every year. You wonder where all this money is, where a kid from Chapel Hill, Stevenson, with Carolina right down the street, says, I'm going to go over to Alabama. Why would he do that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they got a little bit of money, man. They got some money to spread around. They got, and so now Alabama's beating Carolina in the Sweet 16. Alabama is beating Carolina in the SEC, ACC challenge, man. Like, what twilight zone are we living in right now, bro? Bro, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's that. So when Bill Belichick came on, what Carolina did was, and this is the game plan. This is from my own personal opinion and what I'm tracking. Okay, the game plan is that Carolina's serious about football. They spend all this money on Bill Belichick to show, the conferences, because we will not be in the ACC for much longer. I don't believe that. I think it'll be the SEC or the Big Ten. I'm personally hoping we go to the SEC. That's a topic for another discussion. But the goal is to show these other conferences that we're serious about the money generator, which is football. Hopefully we can change the football program And then when we get accepted into the SEC or the Big Ten, guess what? Now we got 50, 60 more $1 million that we can spend, and that money trickles down to the basketball program. So a lot of North Carolina fans are not going to like this, but football is the king. And for the foreseeable future in the United States of America, a lot of you guys won't like this, bro, but basketball is number 2, man. And that includes Carolina and Duke and all these blue bloods. It just, a strong football program will directly correlate to your basketball program. I really do believe that, man. So I think that temporarily it may hurt a little bit, but in the long run, the benefits will be known, man. We'll have more money to where the DJs aren't saying, because unfortunately that's the landscape that we're in. We don't have to worry about somebody outbidding us for a player. Hey, man, you can come here, get a bag, and you can play for the greatest university in college basketball history, the home of Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, Jerry Stackhouse, Antoine Jameson, et cetera, et cetera. And now it's like, bro, why would I not do that? I'm going to get paid and I'm going to get to wear Carolina blue and play in front of 21,750 people. Yeah, I'm coming to Carolina. So hold on. All right. Carolina's just trying to get some stuff fixed, man, in this new landscape that we're in. And I think that they're a little bit behind the power curve, but I do believe that the trajectory is good for the football and the basketball program. Now, you guys can come back and holler at me in 5 years and you can say, hey, you're an idiot. And I'll take it on the chin, man. But that's how I feel right now, bro.
Yeah. Like everybody always says, like football and basketball, they go hand in hand, especially at UNC. Like Carolina's always been a basketball school. Like, I mean, everybody knows that. But like you said, right now, football is changing the landscape of things. Like it really is. It's generating so much money. And the thing that I tell UNC fans is, of course, yes, like the basketball program right now is on a downslope or in a spiral, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But football, imagine what football is going to do for basketball in the near future. Like it is going to, I mean, 20 million in NIL for football is crazy. Right. Like considering the fact that we only had, if I'm not mistaken, 6, something like that when Mac was here.
He reported 4, but I heard that it might have been 6. So you're talking about over triple,
right?
And I've heard that number is going to grow more as far as some extracurricular stuff. So the point is, man, is that like we get into, man, a strong football program is gonna trickle down to the basketball program. So.
That's a fact. Like, but now I will say this: if Carolina does go to the SEC, because I know, because this is, like you said, it's a topic for a whole nother discussion. But if Carolina goes to the SEC, you're gonna lose one of your Carolina and Duke games. Like, I think a lot of people are not really looking at that from that side of things. You're talking about probably one of the top 2 greatest rivalries in sports. So if they go to the SEC and Duke don't come to the SEC, you're going to lose one of those home and home Carolina and Duke games. You're going to lose one because it's just impossible to play 2 home and home games in non-conference schedules.
Right.
Like, so I think people need to sit back and really think about that, because that's going to affect some things or whatever. And I mean, Carolina and Duke, we have to have it. We have to have 2 games of it every year. We have to. So like, it's going to put some changes in there. I'm interested to see what those changes are going to be. But, a lot of people need to realize that if that does happen, wherever Carolina goes, whether it's Big 12, SEC, wherever, if Duke doesn't follow, then you're gonna lose that in that whole rivalry situation.
Real quick, personally, y'all can hate me if you want to, man. But hey, 50 mil or lose a Duke game. Hey, man, I'm gonna take that bad boy on the chin, dog. I'm just gonna be. Hey, and then not only that, when you think about 50 mil to where I can go and get Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson, Michael Jordan, Jerry Stackhouse, Tyler Hansbrough, in the landscape that we're in today. I mean, if I got 2 Carolina Duke games, and Duke don't really have this problem right now, but I don't have the dogs to make it the same as what it was. Is that worth not competing on a national level? To me, it's not. I know, man. I know. Look, I love Carolina Duke in the Dean Dome. I love Carolina Duke in that god awful place that's 8 miles away.
Right.
But when we talking about getting back to competing on a national level, and if I could go back in time and make it all, if we were in Russ's perfect world, we go back to the original 9-team ACC. Maryland would still be here, bro. We'd be taking trips up to College Park, and everything would be right in the world. But it's not. And so we can pretend to be in fantasy land, or we can adjust with the times, man. And I think personally, if Duke can't follow, which I don't think they will, we're going to have to settle for once a season. And then it'll be extra special because it's only once a season. And then, simultaneously, we're making 50 million more a year than they are, which I can live with that too.
Yeah. You made a good point there, Russ. I ain't gonna lie. Like you might be convincing me on that one now. I ain't gonna lie, because I didn't think about it like that. Because I love the rivalry. I love the rivalry. Like we all do, of course. Like even fans that are not Carolina or Duke fans love the rivalry.
The rivalry, right?
But listen, that's a good point. That's something to think about right there.
Kentucky and Louisville do it every year. They play once a year, man, and that's a pretty good rivalry. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's a big game. It's a big game in Kentucky, and a lot of people watch the Kentucky Louisville game too, man. So, I mean, like I said, bro, sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah,
and we kind of treading in them desperate times right now, my friend.
That's true. That's true. You listen, it's something to think about right there, Russ. Like, listen, you got me on that one. That's why you my guy, man. You my guy. You got me on that one. I got to think about that. Like, I come back later on and text you or something, be like, what? Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Or you might say, "Hey, man, you're an idiot," and that's fine too.
I would never do that, Russ. Never do that. Nah, I can't do that to my guy. For sure, man, for sure. So, all right, last question, real quick. How many games? Actually, 2 questions. How many games does UNC make the tournament this year?
Ooh, man. Ooh.
What's your percentage that they do?
Bro, I'm straddling the fence right now, man. To be completely honest with you, I'm straddling the fence, man. I think that we can make it to 20. I think we can make it to 20 wins, but I don't know right now that it's enough. And I mean, the team just hasn't showed. And it's not just the team; it's the team as a whole, bro. It's the players, the coaches, it's everything. I just haven't seen anything, man, that makes me feel like anything's going to change, Linzel. And so, I mean, obviously, every game, bro, I'm pulling hard for him, bro. But, the way that they faltered against Louisville, I'm still scratching my head. How in the world we pulled out the UCLA game? It's like 50-50 with me right now, bro. To be completely honest with you, man, we could miss the dance again, man. That's a strong possibility.
You're right. I'm 50-50. I'm right there with you, because I've been thinking about this same thing. And my last question is, how many games does Chapel Bill win in his first season?
Oh, man. So That's a good question, bro. We'd have to pull up the daggone, and this is a way too early. This is way too early, man.
I ain't gonna lie. I thought I had it too. The schedule.
Hold on, real quick. Let me pull it up real quick, man. I don't want your viewers to be
Nah. Listen, I will say this: the schedule is cheeks. It's
of
cheeks,
course, 100%, just like it was last year. But the difference is you got the GOAT, and I think he's gonna, a lot of talent is leaving and stuff like that, man. But I'm gonna say off the jump,
I'm gonna
say he comes in. I'm gonna say he comes in Texas Christian, and this is a way too early. So y'all don't hold me to this crap at daggone 8 months. Way too early. He shocks the world. We win. Texas Christian College game day is in Chapel Hill on August 30th. 1-0. Beat Charlotte. Beat Richmond. We beat UCF 4-0 in the in the non-con. At Cal. Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. And these are not all in order. At Cal, at NC State, Clemson, Duke, Stanford, Virginia, at Syracuse, at Wake Forest. The only for sure team that I think maybe, and it's at Clemson at home at Kenan Stadium, bro. With Bill Belichick and Dabo Swinney, that's gonna be stinking exciting right there. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna be on the loose end right here, man. I'm gonna say 9, but I do believe that there's a possibility that I might tick that up 1 or 2 in year 1, because I've heard some people say they would not be surprised if BB had Carolina in the playoff in year 1. Don't sleep on my guy, man. Don't sleep on my guy.
I got him 10-2, 11-1.
Hey, I like it. Unfortunately, that's what I picked them 11-1 this year, and they went 6-7. So,
yeah, you might not need to do no more predictions, right?
Yeah. But it's a different coach, man. There's a different sheriff. There's a different sheriff in town now, bro. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah. Now they could go undefeated.
They could.
They could go undefeated. I think the Clemson game is the hardest game.
It is. And like I said, man, Bill Belichick ain't playing the same games that Coach Mac Brown was at the last couple years of his tenure.
That's a fact. That's a
fact. You gonna put out, buddy, or you ain't gonna play.
Listen, NC State and Duke, we're gonna beat the fool out of them.
We are 100%.
Oh my God.
100%.
I can't wait for that. I want to go to that game so bad in Raleigh. I want to go to that game.
I had an NC State fan tell me he wanted me to come with him. He's like, "Yeah, I'll buy you tickets and everything, man." I said, "Bro, I don't think you know what you're asking."
Right.
I'm gonna be a daggone fool out there, bro.
Oh man, I might have to listen. If you decide to go, let me know.
I got you, man. I'll let you know.
For sure. If you want to come on up from down the way, man, let me know for sure. We might have to set something up. So for sure, man. But listen, Russ, man, always it's a pleasure, bro. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. I've been an avid listener, of course, of the Tar Heel Huddle, man. Like, I love what you do over there. Big supporter, man. If you ever need anything, of course, I'm just a phone call away.
Likewise, bro.
You know what I'm saying? For sure, man. For sure. I mean, it's an honor to be here talking to a legend. Like, listen, you're a legend. You're a legend, bro. Like, I've been Andrew Jones, Inside Carolina. Like, listen,
bro, you put me with some big wigs, dog.
I have to. Yeah, like, you gotta remember, Russ. I just started in July doing podcasting. Like, you know what I'm saying? So imagine how long I've been listening to y'all. Like,
I've only been here for a year and a half, dog. I've only been here for a year and a half, man.
And I've been there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I have to put you in that category with them, man. Like, you, Nathan, Allen, like, I've been listening to them since day one. Like, you all have motivated me to get into this space. Like, you know what I'm saying? Cool, so it's just inspiration and everything, bro. So, I mean, like I said, it's an honor, bro. I truly appreciate it, man. Like, for sure.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely,
yeah, do me a favor, man. If you guys, that listen to Lindsay all the time, man, do me a favor, go over to the Tar Heel Huddle at on YouTube.
I would get ready to tell you to plug all of that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. We just went over 2,000 subs just before the new year, man. So we've been on for about a year and a half. I cover Carolina football and basketball. I'll be the first one to tell you, bro, I'm a bigger football fan than basketball fan. I know that's crazy because I'm donned in Carolina blue, but I go hard for both of them, just like Linzel, does for Carolina too, man. So
Absolutely.
after you get finished with Linzel, come on over to the Tar Heel Huddle, man, and see what your boy is cooking up, man. So I appreciate you, dog.
Absolutely. Y'all make sure y'all go over there, man. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell because Russ is doing some big things over there. I'm gonna put all of his information in the description below so that all y'all got to do is just click the link, and go on over there and subscribe to it. Follow him on Instagram. You on Twitter too, right, Russ? Or just Instagram?
Yeah, I think I'm on X too, man, but I hardly ever post on it. But go follow that too, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm gonna put all of his information in the description, everybody. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got that many subscribers, Russ, but hey, one is more than what you had.
We're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it.
We're gonna make it happen, man. It's a slow process, but it's a beautiful one. It's a beautiful one, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. Man. So everybody, that is my guy, Russ, the Tar Heel. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, man, I appreciate everybody for tuning in, everybody for watching or whatever. Like I said, make sure y'all go over there and check out Russ, man. He's doing some big things over there, man, at the Tar Heel Huddle. I got to jump on one of them lives with him when he's doing the games or whatever, so we could kind of just sit back, maybe drink a beer or something, watch the game, do some things or whatever. We go make some things happen for sure. So, but y'all make sure y'all get over there, man, and check him out for sure. So at this, we're going to wrap things up for everybody. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Don't forget, make sure y'all follow, subscribe to the channel, follow my social. And until the next time, peace.